Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Welcome. Dan Rubinoff, not a guest. We have a few guests. So, what's your name? You're not a guest either, but what's your name? Tzvi Kimmel. You don't expect me to remember. From where? But you. Shalom Aleichem. I know. I definitely recognize the face. 100%. Who else do we have there? Anybody else? Dan, did you leave since last time or you're back? Still there? It's like one long trip. Wow. Beautiful. Okay. Everybody's a gewaltige daf today. Very, very easy. And very interesting. Dear Belly, you literally changed my life. No, I didn't learn in Brisk. I've been learning my whole life. But with my ADD, I absolutely love you, Shir. One request. There are many times I don't have the time to sit through all the jokes and stories and would just like to hear the Shir. Can your editors make a joke? Wait a minute. Can your editors make a joke and story-free version? That got me thinking we should make a joke and story version. That should probably only be 22 minutes long. Thank you again for all the wonderful... He's serious, this guy. He's not serious. Thank you again for all the wonderful... Those sitting over here, please. Thank you again for all the wonderful things you're doing for Klal Yisrael. Steve.
Is that your other name?
Michael Daminsky. Hi, Rebelli. A good Erev Shabbos. You don't know me, and unfortunately don't listen to your shir yet. But I couldn't help being blown away last night by the scene. I was at a gathering at a Jewish hotel where there were many guys sitting around Lil Shishi feasting away at 12:30 a.m. eating Russell, a wild Hasidic dish. A nayezach. It's wild and it's Hasidic and it's new. Yeah, I'm Haaretz. You don't know, this is years already. Yeah, Russell. Maybe it's not spelled the right way. I don't know. Having a great social time. This dude gets up from the table and says he wants to catch Rebel Yishir and walks over to the side room to join Yishir despite giving up his momentous party. This is after he put in a hard day of work managing a large housekeeping service at the hotel. Just wow. Kol hakavod. This is the one and only. You don't know? From the matzah bakery. Oh, you don't see? I can't see it. Shimmy. I don't. How do I show this picture? Well, you show it. Yeah, it's on the email thing. You're on the wrong one. How about now? Fine. You're showing, for some reason you're showing that thing. I don't know why. It comes with a video. Concentrate in studying the torah so that they can be worthy meritors of living captives. And it's good thing to recite here. Okay. This is our boy Sai. Oh, it's one off for some reason. You're showing one off here. This is the one I'm looking at. I don't know. It's funny. My name is Elad. We're having a little bit of a issue here. We had to change this out right before Shir started. My name is Elad. I'm doing the daf since the beginning of Bava Basra, and it's amazing. I did the daf yesterday in the Kaisel, and I saw a guy doing the daf too, so I decided to take a picture of him and send it to you. There's a guy, a random guy in the Kaisel doing the daf. This Rabbi Isai is a car in Brooklyn. I know this is Yisroel Goldstein's car, L'chayra. It's 7 different MDY things. And in Lakewood, it goes like this. 1. Instead of watching Shark Tank or other news on WhatsApp, this is on the flight to Paris, Robert Lefkowitz, and his email is something, I took it out, at Kedem. I guess he works for Kedem. I'm listening to share. We'll do chazaras on previous dafim. Since I started at the end of Bava Basra, I haven't missed a day. As soon as I finish Havdalah, I listen to the Shabbos daf. Keep it up. Reuven HaLevi. Here's the picture of Reuven HaLevi in his daf. The Masechta is sponsored for the safe and speedy return of all the hostages. Parnas HaChodesh. Refuat hanefesh. Dave, what's pshat that we're one off? Because it's going to be a problem in the shir. Refuat hanefesh go for Breina Bina about Miriam, Baila, Netanel, Kalev ben Bracha or Bracha bad Breina Bina. Parnas HaChodesh Moe Landy, Liluy nishmas Moshe ben Shmuel Yehuda, the Mashgiach of torah vodaas. Parnas HaChodesh, Ahron Fraiman l'schus to rebel for continuing siyadta dishmaya and teaching torah to klal Yisroel. Parnas HaChodesh to shleima. Neftali Hertz ben Leah, a hidden tzaddik in our generations. Parnas HaChodesh renewed. Nishmas Chaya ben Moshe, Nishmas Chaya bas Yosef, Yisher Koyach for renewing. And Rabbi Isai. Oh, there's no touch screen here. Givaldik. Hi. Should I accept you? Okay. Here's a question. No. Show the screen for a second. Not this one. Oh, like this. So the Doberman Pinscher is born with a tail, like you see on the left. Is born with ears, like you see all the way on the right. People, they take these ears and they chop, they make them nice and pointy, and they take the tail off. If you've ever seen a Doberman here, maybe in Israel, not that many. In America, it's a common dog. It's a vicious looking dog. Is it mutter to do or not? Is there inyan of Tzar B'Lechaim? So it's one of the things we're going to be learning about today. Another very interesting thing, hard to discuss, but it's in the sugya. In the time of the Gemara, a baby that was born in the 8th month had almost zero survival rate. Couldn't survive in the 8th month. So what happens if a baby is born in the 8th month and Shabbos? Is the baby muktzah? You can't do anything with the baby. You can't. It's going to die today. Can a mother pick it up and nurse it? Are you allowed to? It's hard to fathom such a question. Are you allowed to? Is he muktzah? Muktzah, you know how to touch it, just leave it there. All right, so let's see what's going on here. We're holding on the bottom of Daf Yomi Amud Beis, the last, but I need the charts. All right, we are back. You ready? Okay. Sorry for the short delay. So you came with a gewaldige mood. Gewaldig. Okay. So as we were learning yesterday, as you can see here on the screen, we have a room with a dead person. Anybody in the room is tamei tumas oil. You don't have to touch the person. The whole room is red and tamei. The tuma can theoretically go out through a little opening in the wall that's 1 tefach by 1 tefach, unless you put some sort of brick or something in there to block the opening that you don't have a full tefach by tefach. If you have a full tefach by tefach, the tuma will go into the next room. What could block that tuma? That's today's sugya. At least we have a whole amud of what could block it, different things. Animals, human beings, parts of animals, grass, different things. So yesterday we were talking about a brick. Here's a brick in there. The room next to it is not tamei because there's a brick in that wall, and therefore the brick makes the opening less than a tefach. So this room is tar. What if you put a pancake or a wafer? Here we go. Since there's a wafer, the wafer does not make the opening smaller, and the other room is tamei. Now we spoke about a barrel, a box. The barrel has a bunch of figs. The barrel itself, you want to use the barrel. So you're going to remove the barrel out of there. The barrel, says the Gemara, it doesn't count at all. What about the figs that are inside the barrel? Well, depending. The figs inside the barrel, if they stay in the window, they create a chatzitza, provided that they're figs that you don't want to eat, they're wormy. If they don't stay in the hole, in the window, they fall to the floor, they don't provide a chatzitza. Now, check this out for a second. When it comes to klei cheres, earthenware does not become tamei if a sheretz touches the outside of the earthenware, doesn't become tamei. If the tumas oil touches the outside of the earthenware, it doesn't become tamei. The only way it becomes tamei is as this. The inside of the earthenware, the ear space of the inside of the earthenware, that is what becomes tamei. So if a dead sheretz goes into the ear space of the earthenware, it becomes tamei. So therefore, as the Gemara, last words on Amud Beis. This barrel that's inside the window, what kind of barrel are we talking about? Obviously, we're going to start off with a kli cheres. So the Gemara says, "Eat the pumel bar." Let me see the thing for a second. Okay, pumel bar. Pumel bar means that the bottom of the barrel is facing the dead person. So the bottom of the barrel creates a stoppage. It's plugged. You see the window is plugged up. There's nowhere for the tum to go. The outside of the barrel resists tumah. So it cannot be that the outside of the barrel, the bottom part of the barrel is facing the dead person. So let's go to the next slide here. Elamai, here, you see, it blocks the tumah, doesn't allow it to go through. But if the pumah gav, that the opening is into the inside, so the tumah will go into the barrel, and then it will grow into the next room. So the pumah bar, if the opening is to the outside, meaning the other room, the barrel should create a chatzitza. So let me ask you a question. Yesterday we just said, you hear? Let's see who could answer this question. Yesterday we said that a barrel, I'm going to use the barrel. I like barrels. I'm going to use it tomorrow. I'm going to take the barrel out and use it. So it can never create a chatzitza. I don't care. Opening this way, opening that way. All of a sudden now we're talking about openings. Who cares about the opening? If I'm going to be using the barrel tomorrow, I'm going to remove it. It's like a pancake that I'm going to remove so it doesn't create a chatzitza. For that you need a Tosfos. Tosfos is an unbelievable yisroel. 10 lines down. It says Tosfos, when it plugs the entire window, it says Tosfos, then there's no bittul, yes bittul. Once you plug the entire window, so it doesn't matter what you're going to do with that. If you plug the whole window with pancakes, says Tosfos, that's a plug. When it's reducing the size of the window by a small amount, like the size of a pancake, they say, oh, are you going to eat the pancake? You're not going to eat the pancake. But if you plug the whole window with a pile of pancakes, that's enough. Okay. So now we go back. For that you need a side like this, you need from Tosfos. Says the Gemara, the barrel should create a chatzitza, the hakli cheres eino matamim begabot. Our earthenware is not susceptible to tumah from the outside. Ella, the pumah legav must be that its opening, the mouth, is to the inside. To the inside facing the dead person. Once it faces the dead person, the tumah goes into the kli cheres and it goes right through it into the other room. Or I have another reason, another teretz. The opening is to the outside. So if it's talking about, typically if it was shalcheres, it would block, but since it's talking about a metal barrel doesn't create, what's the word I'm looking for? A barrier. Doesn't create a barrier. It's susceptible to tumah, and therefore the tumah goes right into the next room. Beisa. Asavim shetlashon v'nichon b'chaloin. So now we're going to have a whole list of items, and we're going to go through each one by one, and why is this item? But these are items that don't have tumah. Grass doesn't have tumah; it's not food. Or grass that just grew there by itself. Pieces of fabric that don't have 3 fingers by 3 fingers. A limb, v'habasar, flesh, hamduldalim bebehema b'chaya. You have a cow, let's say, that its front leg is hanging by a string. And you take that leg, it's attached down, and you put it in the window. Okay, crazy cases. One is crazier than the next. You have a bird in a window. Now what's your question? A bird in the window. How could a bird in a window be a barrier? I have a lot of birds in my windows. So do you guys here, right? Unfortunately, we have a lot of birds. You go next to the window, it flies away. So why is that a barrier? So the Gemara is going to have to say, because it's locked down. You chained it down. And an idol worshiper that's sitting in a window. Now let me ask you, if you were a Magid Shir, how would you depict an Oived Kechavim sitting in a window? Huh? Anybody? This guy Elia, he's going to show you. Refuat shleima to your ear. No, Lamaisa, I thought about this. You know what happened? No, did anybody think about this? Lamaisa, he had a ritzia. Top right ear. Top right ear. Unbelievable. Okay, I don't know what it resembles. It's huh? All right.
Has he been there since last night's year?
Huh?
Has he been there?
Yeah, he did last night's year. Benny, I was watching Benny. Benny was like this. I'm serious. He's covering his face. He's like, oh no, not again. All right. Rabbi, listen to this. Uben shmoina hamunach b'chaloin. You just call me a choyle nefesh. The Israelis do. No, nothing. Uben shmoina hamunach b'chaloin. 8 month, a baby that was born in the 8th month, stuffed in the window. I don't. You guys want to see what it looks like? Let me see. I can't. I don't know if I can't. You know what? I can't get there. You know, leave this over there. Let me go all the way. Let me see if I can get it. Here. Hold on. I don't know. This is okay. How about now? Oh, this is an 8-month baby in the window. But it's not a bar kayama. It has halacha of a bye-bye. No, there's enough. Regular amount. V'hamelach, salt, ukli cheres, and earthenware. V'sefer torah. You put a sefer torah in the window, reduces the window. Kulam mimatim b'chaloin. Here's the interesting shaila. In America, sometimes sukkahs is so cold, it snows in sukkahs. Are you allowed to sit in a sukkah that has a layer of snow on top? Is that a chatzitza? Is that considered sitting, I don't know, under something else? So based on this Gemara, it shouldn't be a problem. Why? Because Gemara says, Aval hasheleg, snow, v'habarad, hail, v'haglid, frost, v'hakfar, ice, v'hamayim, kulon, einon, ein mematim achaloy. You put a piece of ice in the window, it's garnished. When we say ice, we always say the same, have to bring up this thing. It's neflais habara about ice. Ice is basically the only liquid and maybe one of the only anything in the world that when it becomes cold, it expands. Everything else contracts. Every other liquid and most other substances. The reason is because if it wouldn't, then ice would form and then go into the water and it keep on forming, go into the water, and all the fish would die. That's one of the reasons, I guess. But it's a nace in the bria.
Why is water any less than melach?
Melach stays. Water will evaporate. It's things that you ever left a cup of water out. But in order for it to be a bittul for the window, it has to be something. We said a pancake. You're going to eventually take it. So water also. Says the Gemara. Now we're going one by one. Very interesting sugya. To me, it's interesting to try to find each and everything why you wouldn't take it, even though you think you would take it, and each one has an interesting reason. What about grass is good for your animal? Says the Gemara about frasta. It's talking about poisonous grass. Here we even have a picture, maybe. But now I have to go all the way back. Let's see if I can get there. I should get back there anyway. Here, a frasta. You show, according to Google, this will kill an animal. It says, we learned in the Breisa that the grass came by itself. Ask the Gemara, Kivin the kosher l'koisel shakalahu. So what's very interesting is, you might not have known this on your own. Why are we even talking about all this stuff? What does this have to do with Bava Basra? Reduction in a window. It started yesterday, like 15 lines from the bottom. Pancake doesn't reduce the window, but a cake does and shouldn't. And then we go into a chavis, and we're just going into a whole sugya of tumen, tyre, and oil, and what reduces a window since yesterday. We could lose focus. And Taisus reminds us that it's this line right over here. Kiv in the kosher l'koisel shakalahu. We just discussed all sugi about growing grass and plowing next to your neighbor's wall. So ask the Gemara, if grass is not good, you can't plant stuff next to your neighbor's wall. This grass over here is not good for your neighbor's wall. Kiv in the kosher l'koisel shakalahu. That's why we brought all this dead person stuff and babies in the 8th month and everything, all for this line. Omar Rabba, because of churba. Yeah, the neighbor doesn't have a wall that he cares about. Even if it falls down, he doesn't care. Papa Omar, because the yishuv could be a good wall. It comes 3 tfachim away from the chalayin, from the window. So it's more than 3 tfachim. I'm not mechuyev to chop it down. But it goes into the window. It reduces the window. Too many of these weeds in the window. I have a window that's exactly 1 tefach over 1 tefach. 1 inch of grass makes it less than a tefach. It's reduced and the tumah doesn't go through. What do you do with a little tiny piece of beged this big? What are you going to do with it? Chazulei likriya de levusha. Last night in Shir I said, now we're in school, when I grew up, there's one kid in the school that had a patch on his knee. So the guy says, every kid in our class, every kid in the school had that. That's normal. So, I guess it was normal. Maybe Sharm, the guy came from, he was Yerushalmi. In America, it was less than that. But today, I don't think it's very common. But in the time of the Gemara, 3x3 etzba'is is good for a patch. Chazalei likriya de levusha.
This by 3 is less than
Where are you reading? Yeah. Don't have 3x3. Right. So, but what can you do with it? You could put it on a ripped piece of garment. So you're going to take it. You're going to take it out of the window so it doesn't reduce the window. Says Gemara bismichta. It's one of these things. It irritates the skin. Says Gemara. So what? Chazalu mana. It's good for a bloodletter. You could use it to wipe down the blood. Birisaka. It's talking about a sack. So let's see. Maybe this is what the Gemara means, that it's here. Here's a sack. How about this one? Okay, sack. So this one is very coarse, not good. It says Gemara, Ibirisaka, Shemim Shalish al Shalish. So what do you mean it doesn't have 3 fingers? The shear by a sack is much greater. Shemim Arba, not 4 fingers. We're going from 3 fingers to 4 tfachim. It's a much larger amount. Shemim Arba. Says Gemara, Risaka. It doesn't mean a sack. It just means that it's abrasive. It's a piece of cloth. It's cloth, which the shear is 3x3. Just you can't use it to wipe down somebody's blood. It'll cause them a tremendous amount of pain. Okay, next one. You have a limb that's hanging by a string on a chaya behema. Says Gemara, what do you mean? Ark of Azal, the animal's going to run away? Big shura. Talking about it's tied down. You see what I'm saying? Like, we're going through everything and we're coming up with all these heichatimtzes. I would like, okay, you did it once, it's enough. No, a whole amud. Says Gemara, okay, shachadla, maybe you'll shecht it and then use it for the meat. Bitmeya, you can't shecht it. It's talking about a non-kosher animal. So, maybe you'll sell it. Why would you leave it in a window? Bekhusha, can't sell it. So you're leaving it in the window. It's too skinny, it's worthless. Says Gemara, it's not worthless. Pasuk shadalok flavim, you'll give it to the dogs. No, you're not going to chop off the leg because it's very painful for the animal. You're not going to take off a leg. As Taisves, so just kill the whole thing and give it to the dog. You're going to leave it in a window? Says Taisves, no, it's your monkey. That's what he says. It's a monkey. It's a monkey. It's your pet. You love it. You don't want to kill it. I mean, like people today with the dog. People go to levayas. People that lose a dog, a pet, you see them crying for weeks. It's a real pain. So they want to the poskim want to prove from here. Taisa says, the Gemara says, chop off its leg. No. You're not allowed to do that. That's asr. To chop off an animal's leg is asr because it's tzar v'chaim. As Taisa chop off its head, kill it. Says Taisa, no, it is a monkey. So it seems like you're allowed to chop off an animal's head. It's not tzar v'chaim. So you see from here, it's not tzar v'chaim to kill an animal. So you go hunting, you shoot an animal like you kill a lion, not tzar v'chaim. You take a saw, you cut off its leg. Oh, that's tzar v'chaim. That's a problem. The Refuat Chassid, it's unbelievable. He talks like I thought I was reading Rabbi Victor Miller. It was like mamish the same kind of lashon. You go the whole arichos. Why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu create a tail on an animal? He says because an animal can't reach its back. So if it has flies on its back, how's it going to so it shooes the flies away with a long tail. It goes through a whole process. So if you take off its tail, you're creating tzar v'chaim, he says. He says, but if you notice, gorillas, apes, they don't have a tail. Bears don't have a tail. Why not? He says, because they have hands. A bear has a hand. So he can go like this. He can chew it away with his hand. Any animal that could reach its rear doesn't have a tail. As I talked there. Monkeys do have a tail. He doesn't say that. Monkeys, because they need it to swing, but they're not using it to shoo flies away. Very interesting, but in terms of, so, going back to the original question, are you allowed to chop off a dog's tail? A dog runs that. So according to maybe not. But the Paisim say you could, because anything that's liyapos, to make your pet, because the pet is for you. Some people, I didn't know this, some people, they cut a parrot's tongue, so it starts talking. You allowed to do that? La halacha. There's no inyan of tzar v'chaim in such a case. V'oiv sheshacham b'chaloin, and a bird who's in a window. How do I get there? Here. Oiv sheshacham b'chaloin. It's going to run away. Baruch Basel. Says the Gemara b'kashur. It's tied down. Says the Gemara shachalei. He'll shecht it. B'tamei. You can't shecht a non-kosher bird. So give it to a guy. Sell it to a guy. B'kol. We're talking about this guy. This is kol, maybe, according to the aruch or whatever. So it doesn't have a lot of meat. It's not something the guy would buy. Says the Gemara, okay, use it as a pet. Says the Gemara, b'mesaret. It's a scratching bird like this, something like this. Says the Gemara, but the kol doesn't scratch. Can't kol. It's similar looks, size, whatever of a kol, but it doesn't scratch. It scratches. You have a non-Jew sitting in a window, it reduces. Why? Let's think about it for a second. Because what about a Jew? What about a Jew in a window? How come a Jew in a window doesn't reduce? Huh? A Jew is mikabel tuma, so since it becomes tamei, it doesn't do any. A guy is not mikabel tuma. Says Gemara, he'll get up and go away. Bekafos, he's tied down. Says Gemara, so the non-Jew's friend will come and untie him. B'mitzayra. So I'm at a non-Jew who's a mitzayra. Also mitzayra chavrei R Eli. The mitzayra's friend will untie him. In other words, mitzayra, nobody wants to come next to him. I don't want to risk becoming a mitzayra. Not the mitzayra of tzaras. Mitzayra leprosy. I want leprosy to untie guys. So another mitzayra that doesn't care. Ryangel Galinsky says, say the word mitzayra. You got to mention this also. There's a king who said, today's your lucky day, whatever you want, I'm giving you. So there's a whole line of people, and the Mitzvah waits in line, and the guy, everybody sees his Mitzvah, so they start moving away. He gets to the front of the line, the king says, no, what do you want? He says, I would like the king to make every block one stone that sticks out so I could scratch my back. So he said, Meshugana, you're ready by the king, why don't you ask for medicine to heal you? He says, you know how geshmak it is? When it itches, you go like this. It's mamish geshmak. So Dr. Yankel Alinsky, we come to this world. So what are you doing? Why do you chap more torah, chap more mitzvahs? He says, you know how geshmak it is to drive a Tesla? You know how geshmak it is to go on a safari? You know how geshmak it is to eat chalav stam? Chaperein mitzvahs, you shoytash. Chaperein. What are you doing? Wasting your time in shtosim, asking for the wrong things. Says the Gemara, we're talking about people that are tied up because the king said to tie them up. Nobody's going to dare untie them. So they stay in the window. It's a great reduction to your window. Gewaldig. It's hard. This is a hard Gemara to understand. You have a baby that was born in the 8th month, sitting in a window, waiting to die. What do you mean? The mother's going to come, have her chmanis and take it. B'Shabbos. Can you imagine? Shabbos. She's not allowed to touch the baby. The Sanya ben Shmuel Yehuda Kevin. He learned in Shabbos. Halachically speaking, we view this baby that's basically dead like a stone. There's an Isur Muktzah on Shabbos. The mother could nurse the baby because it's sakana to the mother to have so much milk. Melach, the salt fills up the window, reduces the window. Says Gemara Chazile, he's going to use the salt for his food. B'merirta, it's not usable. Chazile, it's a katan with it. This big kites, it has kites you don't want to touch with your hands. Says Gemara, since it's not good for the wall, he's going to remove it from the wall. Says Gemara, the yasa chasba, it's on a plate made of earthenware. It's not going to ruin the wall. Says Gemara, you're talking about a window that's exactly 1 tefach by 1 tefach. So now you have this plate, or whatever, this piece of earthenware, it should reduce it. Says Gemara, you had enough? It doesn't have a shear. So what does that mean? So an interesting thing that we saw in Masechet Shabbos is that every item has a shear. Liquids have a shear, this has a shear, klicheres has a shear, every item has a shear, depending on the usage of that item, the shear of how much are you chayav when you carry something in Rishus HaRabim. One item could be 20 inches long, the other item 1. It depends on the item. So it's not like we learned, Here, patzim l'chaveiroi. Let's do it one more time. This is a window. I'm not 100% sure that this is what Rashi means, but something like this. That the kli cheres, they go in between the slats some way, either like that or there was some sort of slats that let a light in, and in order that maybe it shouldn't rub against the frame, whatever, there's some sort of piece of cheres over there. So the cheres, that's the shear, however big that is. Because it's not cheres, but what about the kli cheres itself? You could use it to eat on it. The mitan of it's dirty, you're not going to eat on it. Chazilu mana, it's good for bloodletting. The bloodletter, he uses these broken pieces of cheres to catch blood or whatever. It says Gemara de Menakiv, it has a hole in it, it's not good. Next, Sefer Torah reduces the window. Chazil mikra, why could you reduce it? Says Gemara bebaluy. We're talking about a Sefer Torah that is worn out. So this is a picture of a 920-year-old Sefer Torah, the oldest Torah in the world from the time of the Rambam. In perfect condition, like they say, it's in pretty decent condition. Readable. Here in Yerushalayim. Bebaluy. Huh? Says the Gemara, if it's worn out, it needs gniza. Says the Gemara, Shom take gniza. In that window is the gniza. Says Rav, you could use anything for a wall, for mechitza, besides salt and fat, which are gonna disappear eventually. You could use salt for a wall, for a mechitza, lucky mechitza. Shmuel is talking about very thick salt, like a rocky salt. So that's a good mechitza. It's already kindness, like what we use today, so it's going to disappear. Check this out. If you take 2 piles of salt, this is a little bit exaggerated because it's kind of standing up. You take 2 piles of salt and you put a beam on top of it. That creates a tzuras haPesach, a kaira in a mavui. This, by the way, Yoshi did last night after like 11 o'clock or whatever. There's 2 piles of salt. And there's a beam on top. The weight of the beam makes sure that the salt stays. The salt carries the beam. So they're both great. Then you could even use the smaller salt that you're worried that's going to disappear. Shmuel that says if you use salt, it's because there's a heavy beam on top of the salt, it's not going anywhere. Rav, who says you cannot use salt, there's no beam, so it's going to disappear. Mamish Rabbi side, this Bava Basra with 20 daf in, easy, geschmack, sponsors. Turning of the daf, sponsored by Life Share Community, protecting families today before tomorrow's unexpected loss. So, how come you have to distance the Rechaim? Let's see where the picture of the Rechaim is. If I could get to it. No? No? I'm going the wrong direction. How about this? Here we go. Rechaim. So, there's the upper stone and the lower stone. So, since the upper stone is narrower, so it has to be 4 tefachim away from the wall. My taima, why do you have to distance this from the wall? Mishum tirya, because of the vibrations, damages the wall. Check this beautiful video out. Gewaltige stuff. You see this? Chamor. Again, we got to see it again. So, this device is very small. It's actually not as large as a regular rechaim. And if you notice, on top, I can't zoom in on this computer, but on top, there's a hopper. There's 2 stones and a hopper full of grain. So that's a kelis. Kelis is a hopper. So the hopper is 4 tefachim away from the wall. The hopper is obviously narrower than the actual stone. Asking Gemara also my tiriyika. Now that we understand that this is a smaller device than a regular Rechaim, ask the Gemara, where's the vibration over here? Elam shum kala, the sound of the guy screaming at the donkey, says Rashi, or the actual Rechaim itself. Now, I have a riddle for the Olam. Not everybody together. Yesterday, somebody got it right away. How is it that one donkey, 2 of its feet travel 32 kilometers a day? The other 2, only 30 kilometers a day.
Outside or inside?
Oh. The outside and the inside of this donkey in this picture, his outside legs are going further than the inner ones. Very good. You did it even quicker than the guy in the Hebrew show. Unbelievable. I should have asked you the question before I showed the video. So if we're looking at this, now let's go back here. Yeah. Go back. Yeah. The base is only 3 tefachim away from the wall. The actual oven is 4. So it says Abayish Mamino Kili the Tanner Tefach. When the Gemara says that the Tanner is 3 and the base is 4, I'm sorry, the base is 3 tefachim away from the wall and the Tanner is 4. That means that the base is 1 tefach. So yeah, very good. So what's the nafkamina? Nafkamina l'mekro memkar. If I hire you to build me an oven, you should know you have to make a base that's 1 tefach. Says the Eli Mishnah. This Tanner, you see, it's very narrow, and a lot of heat comes out of that opening on top. So I must distance that opening from my ceiling. The Mishnah. I need at least 4 amas from there to the ceiling, which is 8 feet above the Tanner, which is very, very high. What if I put it in my 2nd floor? So now, Rabbi said we should know what ma'azeva means. Mazeva does not mean a gutter. Mazeva means the cement that we put on the floor. You need, how much cement do you need? 3 tvachim, like that much cement. If you're going to have a stove, a hot stove in your second floor, you better make sure you have this much cement so that it doesn't burn through the floor. Ubekira, if you only have a kira, it's much smaller device, tefach. Enough is 1 tefach of cement. Vim hizik. Now, if you have less than that, I, as a neighbor, can tell you you're not allowed to use your oven. Vim hizik, mishal hizik. But if you listen to what Chacham said, and you did 3 tfachim, and there was a fire in your house, and you burnt down the neighbor's house, you have to pay for the guy's house. Rabbi Shimon Oimer, no, you don't have to pay for your neighbor's house. Why not? If you listen to Chachamim, so you did what you need to do, now you don't have to pay. We had this case. Do not open up. I'm not going to show you for the 100th time the store that you changed the frack from black to red. But you should not open up one of those stores that has a lot of heat underneath to make the dye. You're not allowed to open up a store like that on the first floor if there's a storage on the second floor. Don't open up a bakery. Bakery. Don't put your cows underneath your friend's storage. Be'emes, truth is, if the store is storing wine, that's okay, because it's actually good for the wine. But the smell of the cows is harmful for the wine. Says the Gemara, we just learned that you need a mazeva, you need 3 tfachim of cement. I thought the shear is 4 tfachim of cement. Ubekira shleisha. By us it said kira 1 tefach. In the Breina it says 3. We're talking about a bakery. A bakery has huge ovens, very, very powerful ovens, so they need more cement. They need 4. The Tanu Didan, our oven is kira denachtoim, is like a small kira of a bakery. So that's why the bakery needs 3 for a kira. We need 3 for a tanner because they're the same size. If the barn was before the storage, mutter, then you don't have to take your cows out of there. If he decided to put a storage afterwards, you came first, you can leave your cows on the first floor. What if he showed intent to make a storage? You didn't put your wheat there. You're anticipating delivery of wheat. So you go and you do sponja. You make it nice and clean. Or you add windows for ventilation. The guy sees you're about to put your wheat there. He goes and he puts a bunch of cows in the first floor. They're not goyers this, but we'll say it anyways. What if you put an attic on top? Why would you put aliyah? You remember the famous Gemara, Nisru chitecha ba'aliyah. Yeah? That Mashiach's kaina, Kesef kaina, Nisru chitecha. It's normal to put the chit in ba'aliyah. So a guy has an aliyah, he builds an aliyah for what? For storage. So he's showing his anticipation to store. Can I put my cows there? Is that enough to say, hey, he's already storing? Or no, you literally have to store. Teiku, I don't know. What if he didn't store wheat? He stored dates and pomegranates. Maybe one day he will store. He's showing that it's a storage facility. So maybe tomorrow he'll store wheat. Is that considered storing wheat? Teiku. And then just 4 more lines, and then we're done for today. When it comes to wine, the geschmackes smell of the berekes, the rogalach goes into the wine, and it enhances the wine. Maybe in those days it's more like bread. Okay, good geschmack smelling bread goes into the wine, it's good. But the terrible smell from a cow is no good for the wine. It smells it up. Rav Yosef, Haididan, our wine, afilu kutru d'shraga, our wine is very sensitive. Even a little smoke from a candle, nami kashli, is no good for it. Rav Sheishes vaspasto, when you have the shachas, the food from the animal, you cut it down, it gets all moldy and smelly. Kereves bakar damya, it ruins the storage above, and you're not allowed to do that. Rabbi Isai, have a wonderful day.